Gentleman from California withdraws a point of order who seeks recognition. Gentleman from California is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, much as I don't like certain parts of the Mazur's decision, it clearly applies in this case, and the committee is required to engage with the White House in order to seek an accommodation over materials held by a private party, as they were in the Mazur's case, and seek to resolve this with the White House. So I would ask unanimous consent that we enter into the record your correspondence to the White House.
Objection.
Seeking to engage them to resolve this. And I thank the chairman for not objecting. Can you produce that correspondence to the White House asking for accommodation on these materials you sought by this subpoena?
What's up, America? Welcome back to America Patriots, the channel where common sense is still alive, the Constitution still matters, and the smell of freedom is always in the air. Before we jump into today's wild congressional rodeo, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell so hard it wakes up Congress from their permanent nap. Trust me, you don't want to miss any breakdowns, because around here we call out the nonsense and celebrate the people actually trying to do their jobs. Shocking, I know. And hey, drop a comment below, even if it's just to say America, because it drives the algorithm nuts in the best possible way and keeps this Patriot community growing. All right, let's get into the circus.
First time they reached out to us was 2 days ago.
Yes, and of course the author expressed the concern that these materials may implicate interests of the executive. I think that was weeks ago. But having admitted without dissent your correspondence to the White House, can you produce that for us where you have sought an accommodation, where you've sought to work this out with the White House? Can you share that with us since that is now part of the record?
Well, I thought you had it. You wanted to enter into the record.
I do. I presume that, knowing your responsibilities, you have sought to engage the White House. So,
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Produce
recognized for point of order.
I think a unanimous consent request to submit something to the record is where the person who's asking for the floor is the proponent of submitting information that member has. I don't believe it's appropriate to ask a unanimous consent request to engage in a colloquy over discovering information or obtaining information from another member of the committee.
Great, and that's why I said that no objection to the unanimous consent request. If the gentleman from California wants to talk about that and present it to us, God bless him. He's allowed to do it since 5 minutes.
I would like clarification from the chairman. Does this mean that there is no correspondence from you to the White House seeking accommodation on this material?
We've had all kinds of correspondence with the White House on this broad subject relative to the Zwanitzer and the letter we got 2 days ago. We've not corresponded with the White House yet.
And
we will, we may. That's a decision we'll make.
And you have not corresponded with the White House seeking accommodation ever since the author who you are subpoenaing and seeking to hold in contempt articulated the view that there was executive interest and potential privilege over this material. You haven't sought to engage over the weeks since you received that communication?
We have not engaged with the White House since the letter on the 25th of this month, 2 days ago.
And prior to that time, did you engage the White House in an effort to obtain these materials?
All kinds of engagements with our counsel and counsel, both
I'm talking about
the Justice Department and White House with our counsel over the last several months relative to the special counsel
this subpoena, Mr. Chairman. Did you engage with the White House at any time in the last several weeks since issuing this subpoena, the one you want to hold this witness in contempt for? Did you ever engage with the White House in an effort to accommodate, an effort to reach an agreement, an effort to prevent this from having to be litigated? Did you ever write any correspondence, make any call to the White House seeking to engage, seeking to get these materials that you're seeking from the author instead from the White House? Did you ever do that, Mr. Chairman?
We're seeking documents from a private individual who I might add tried to destroy the evidence.
So I guess the question is, I guess the answer is no.
Since 2 days ago.
The answer is no.
The answer is since 2 days ago, I have not.
I'm not asking the question about since 2 days ago, although nothing.
That's when they first raised the concern.
Nothing prevented you from writing a letter within the last 2 days or reaching out to the White House before this.
Now you want me to be clairvoyant and read the White House's mind and write a letter before they tell us something?
Nothing prevented you from seeking these materials from the White House
is known for
months, Mr. Chairman. for months.
I'm not a mind reader.
And
I don't know what
I thank you for making a very clean record for any court that will look at this.
The gentleman from North Carolina said
an accommodation
months ago the White House could have raised the concern, and they
obtain these
didn't.
documents. Because your first move, of course, is to go right to contempt. Ironically, of course, for a chairman who was in contempt of his own subpoena.
Point of order, Mr.
We're still waiting for you to testify and meet the obligations of your own subpoena, Mr. Chairman. But nevertheless, I appreciate you're making such a clean record for any court in this case that you have never sought an accommodation, never written to the White House, never called the White House, never had a communication with the White House in order to obtain these materials as part of an accommodation. Thank you for that very clean record for the court, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Who seeks recognition?
So I just watched this hearing where Jim Jordan and Adam Schiff went at it again. And folks, I've seen calmer arguments at Walmart on Black Friday. Schiff was doing everything in his power to keep the whistleblower wrapped in more layers in a TSA-approved suitcase, while Jim Jordan was over there doing what he does best. Asking the questions that everyone else is too scared, too confused, or too politically allergic to ask. You know it's going to be a good hearing when Schiff starts a meeting with, "This committee will not be used out the whistleblower," and Jordan basically responds with, "Yeah, buddy, nobody's outing anybody. We're just trying to figure out what actually happened." Logic. Imagine that. Then you've got Schiff cutting Jordan off like he's moderating a middle school debate club. Every time Jordan tried to get an answer, Schiff was like, time. I've never seen someone protect a stopwatch like that. The man must sleep with it under his pillow. Meanwhile, Jim Jordan keeps a composure, fires off questions like a constitutional Gatling gun, and somehow stays funny while doing it. The witness says, "I'm sorry, was there a question?" And Jordan's like, "There was." Folks, I lost it. Absolute gold. Then Jordan dives into the 2016 Ukraine stuff. Ukrainian officials trash-talking Trump, ambassadors writing op-eds, government folks acting like Twitter trolls. And he asks the obvious question, why didn't anyone care about foreign interference back then? A fair question, asked respectfully with receipts. But suddenly asking for clarity is treated like a national security breach. Amazing how that works. And Schiff acted like Jordan was trying to crack open the nuclear codes just by asking who heard a phone call. Jordan's making points. Schiff's making faces. And the witness looks like he'd rather be literally anywhere else. Washington in a nutshell. Then, my favorite part, the whole transcript fight breaks out. Schiff's side is like, "We want the full transcript." Jordan's like, "Sure, but we gotta redact a couple names so we're not blasting people's identities to the internet." Reasonable, right? Schiff hears that and acts like someone stole his lunch. "You're objecting." "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are." Peak government efficiency. Folks, eventually they agreed to release the transcript with redactions. Honestly, I'm shocked we didn't need a UN peacekeeping force to settle it. Here's the bottom line. Jim Jordan shows up, does the work, asks the questions, and doesn't play along with the pretend we don't see what's right in front of us political theater. And you don't have to agree with him on everything to respect that. The man's consistent. The man's relentless. And the man listens to his constituents. Rare combo these days. So if you're tired of political dodgeball, tired of selective transparency, tired of watching Congress act like a reality TV show run by hall monitors, stick with us here at America Patriots. We break it down with humor, clarity, and a good dose of actual American spirit. Hit like, hit subscribe, drop a comment. Tell me what you thought of Jordan in this hearing. Did he nail it? Did Schiff deflect? Was the witness wishing he chose a different career path? Let me know. Stay loud, stay proud, stay American. America Patriots out. United States.